There's one engine in American history so dangerous, so brutally powerful, that the moment it appeared, the biggest racing organization in the country panicked and rewrote its entire rulebook just to make it illegal. Think about that. They didn't ban a car. They banned an engine. And here's the strange part. The company that built this monster barely even wanted to sell it to you. It cost a small fortune. It could hardly idle in traffic. It fouled its own spark plugs, and the factory quietly lied about how much power it really made. People started calling it the elephant. 60 years later, a version of it still powers the fastest accelerating machines on the planet. This is the secret of the 426 Hemi, the engine that was so good, it had to be outlawed. And to understand why, you have to look at a shape hidden deep inside it, a shape most people have never actually seen. The story begins not with a car, but with a furious executive. In the early 1960s, Chrysler was getting humiliated. On the drag strips and the high banks of NASCAR, other brands were winning, selling cars, and stealing all the glory, while Chrysler watched from the back of the pack. The company's new president, Lynn Townsend, was done losing. So in December of 1962, he issued a direct order to his engineers. Build me an engine that destroys everyone, not an engine that competes. An engine that wins, so completely the competition gives up. He gave them a brutal deadline too, because he wanted this weapon ready for the two biggest races of 1964, the Winter Nationals and the Daytona 500. A small, secretive team of Chrysler engineers, led by a man named Bill Weirtman, took on what sounded like an impossible task. They had to create the most powerful racing engine in the country, almost from scratch, in barely a year. And the solution they reached for was a piece of engineering that Chrysler had actually abandoned years earlier. The secret was not in the size of the engine. It was in the shape of one tiny, hidden space inside the cylinder head. To understand why the Hemi was so feared, you need to understand one simple idea, and it is the entire reason this engine became a legend. Inside any engine, there is a combustion chamber, the small pocket where fuel and air explode to make power. On most engines of the era, that chamber was a flat or wedge shape, which was cheap and easy to build, but it choked the engine's breathing. Chrysler did something different. They made that chamber a dome, a hemisphere. That is literally where the name Hemi comes from, short for hemispherical. And that one shape changed everything. The dome let Chrysler put the intake and exhaust valves on opposite sides, tilted apart, which meant they could fit enormous valves into the head. Bigger valves mean the engine can gulp in far more air and fuel and breathe out exhaust much faster. On top of that, the dome let them place the spark plug right in the center, so the flame spread evenly and burned the fuel more completely. More air, more fuel, a better burn. That is the whole magic trick. A Hemi could simply breathe better than anything else, and an engine that breathes better makes more power, period. But a great cylinder head is useless if the engine tears itself apart. And this engine was built to be beaten without mercy. Here is the genius of what those engineers did. They didn't design the whole engine from a blank sheet. Instead, they took the toughest, strongest engine block Chrysler already had, the deep-skirted block from their 426 Max wedge race engine, an absolute anvil of an engine bottom end. Then they bolted those free-breathing hemispherical heads on top. The result was the best of both worlds, an iron block that could survive a beating, wearing heads that could breathe like a race engine. They added cross-bolted steel main bearing caps to lock the crankshaft down at high RPM, and they even stress-relieved the blocks at the factory so they wouldn't crack under the violence of racing. The finished engine displaced 426 cubic inches, about 7 liters, and it was massive. It was so big, so heavy, and so powerful that the people around it started calling it by a nickname that stuck forever: the Elephant. It weighed well over 800 pounds and was one of the largest engines in all of racing. Chrysler had built their weapon. Now it was time to find out what it could do. And what happened next sent a wave of fear through every rival garage in America. In February of 1964, Chrysler rolled into the Daytona 500 with a brand new Hemi, and what followed wasn't a race. It was a statement. The Hemi-powered cars didn't just win. They obliterated the field. A young Richard Petty drove his Plymouth Belvedere to victory by more than a full lap, lapping the entire field. And when the dust settled, Hemi-powered cars had finished first, second, and third. A clean sweep. Petty later said the engine pulled so hard it felt like it was trying to suck the air cleaner straight through the exhaust pipes. The competition was stunned. Over at Ford, executives were genuinely frightened because they had nothing that could touch it. The fear ran so deep that Ford rushed to build its own exotic answer, the 427 overhead cam camera engine, just to try to fight back. And the Hemi was tearing up the dragsters too. That same year, the legendary Big Daddy Don Garlits used a race Hemi to blast through the quarter mile at over 200 miles per hour, a barrier few thought possible. This single engine had walked into the most important race of the year and embarrassed everyone. It was, without question, the most dominant engine in the sport overnight. And that is exactly where the Hemi's biggest problem began. Because in racing, there is a strange truth. If you win too much, too easily, you don't get a trophy. You get a target painted on your back. And NASCAR was about to take aim. The Hemi was simply too good, and that became its curse. After watching it demolish the 1964 season, and after loud complaint from rivals like Ford, NASCAR made a stunning decision. For 1965, they effectively banned the Hemi. But here is the clever, important detail that most people get wrong. NASCAR didn't ban it for cheating. The Hemi broke no technical rules. Instead, NASCAR created a new eligibility rule. They declared that any engine used in competition had to be a real engine, available to the public in regular production cars. And the race Hemi was a pure, race-only weapon. You could not walk into a dealership and buy one. So with the stroke of a pen, NASCAR locked the Hemi out. Chrysler was furious. They felt cheated out of their hard-earned advantage. And in protest, they did something dramatic. They pulled out and boycotted much of the 1965 NASCAR season entirely. But Chrysler's engineers were not going to let their masterpiece die. If the rule said the engine had to be available to the public, then fine. They would do exactly that. They would put this barely tamed race engine into cars and sell it to ordinary people. And that decision created one of the rarest, wildest street engines ever offered. In 1966, to get back into racing, Chrysler released the Street Hemi to the public. But selling a race engine to regular drivers was not simple. The full race Hemi, with its sky-high compression and brutal camshaft, was undrivable on the street. So engineers detuned it, lowering the compression, softening the camshaft, adding cast iron exhaust manifolds, and a pair of big 4-barrel carburetors. They even had to tilt the combustion chambers slightly just to make the giant engine fit inside the car. And still, even detuned, it was a beast. Chrysler officially rated the Street Hemi at 425 horsepower. But just like so many engines of that era, that number was conservative. Real-world dyno tests showed it was actually making closer to 450 horsepower. And the truth is nobody really knew its ceiling. Here's the catch, though. Owning one was a commitment. The Hemi option could add around $900 or more to the price of your car, a massive sum back then. It demanded premium fuel, it fouled its plugs in slow city traffic, and it needed constant attention. It was, in every sense, a race engine pretending to be a street engine. And because of that price and that hassle, very few people actually bought one. Across its entire production run, only around 10,904 Street Hemis were ever sold. But the ones that got it became legends. Over the years, that mighty engine found its way into the most iconic Mopars ever built. The Dodge Charger, the Super Bee, the Plymouth Roadrunner, the GTX, the Challenger, and the Barracuda, turning each of them into a feared street monster. That rarity is a huge part of why Hemi cars are worth absolute fortunes today. By 1971, the world had turned against engines like the Hemi. Tightening emissions laws, soaring insurance costs, and the slow death of the muscle car era all closed in at once. After just a handful of years in production cars, Chrysler quietly discontinued the legendary 426 Hemi. On paper, the story should have ended right there in 1971. But the elephant refused to die, because that brilliant core design, that breathing hemispherical head bolted to an unbreakable block, was simply too good to ever truly retire. Decades later, the basic architecture that Chrysler created in a panic in 1964 is still the foundation of the engines used in the fastest accelerating machines on Earth. The nitro-burning top fuel and funny car dragsters that make over 11,000 horsepower and cover a quarter mile in under 4 seconds. 60 years on, the engine that was banned for being too powerful is still, in many ways, the most powerful racing engine ever built. They tried to outlaw it, they tried to tame it, and they eventually stopped building it. But they never managed to beat it. That is the real secret of the 426 Hemi. It wasn't just powerful. It was a race engine so dominant that the rules of the sport had to be bent around it. An engine its own maker was forced to sell against its will, hiding world-beating performance behind a shape most people never even think about. If you found the legend of the elephant as fascinating as we do, subscribe, because we are always cracking open the hidden engineering secrets behind the greatest machines ever built. Thanks for watching.